mean, yeah, cool.
Erica?
I'm talking. I just didn't have my mic on. So, you know. Classic Erica. Hello, and welcome to UTB Blogcast number 114. We actually have Dave, not just Brad, which I called Dave last week, and Brad, and Roy tonight, and we may even have another Brad show up. So, welcome, boys.
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
She's getting us all confused tonight.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Like a blogcast with, can I have some extra Brad on that? Or something?
It's been a while since we've all been here, and that's probably a good thing, it seems. But we're here. I expected some sort of reaction from that, but...
Well, it is Dr. Seuss's birthday, so I guess we're supposed to have a little nonsensical chatter today anyway.
Is it really?
Yep.
Huh.
I used to teach preschool. I know these things.
Didn't they decide this year that Dr. Seuss was racist, though, so we shouldn't be celebrating?
You know what? Why don't we talk about BlackBerry?
Okay, good times.
Dr. Seuss is racist. Okay.
Screw Seuss. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And here we go. Here's the Cat in the Hat joining us right now.
Uh-huh. That must be a big hat. Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Laugh at the new guy.
It's all good.
Brad, you've got some dude behind you. Look out. Don't look at him. There's some dude back there.
I'll be fine.
Okay.
You got two dudes behind you, so.
Yeah, I don't look at them either.
Yeah. I don't know who's scarier, you or them.
Hey.
Okay, so what do we want to talk about first? We want to talk about the post that went up. Was it today that you posted that, Brad? About desktop and BlackBerry?
It's a few days ago.
Or whatever.
Or, I mean, which part?
I don't know. I'm just.
Should we just start with BBM? Since
you know what? Go for it.
Let's just start with BBM because it seems like there's been a lot of news about BBM this week, even if it all magically disappeared tonight. So I think everybody here got and was able to enjoy the BBM Desktop, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And then I heard there's a new update that took it away tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I haven't done that update yet. I haven't done that update, and I won't be because I'm really enjoying BBM Desktop.
Well, I did the update just for fun because, you know.
Yeah, it's fun, Dave.
But I did try it on, 4 different browsers. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Just, yeah. That's what I did. And it worked on all 4.
Really?
And one of them was mobile, Firefox mobile on my DTEC 60.
Yeah, you were trying it on your. So I mean, were you able to get it to work on the both Internet Explorer and Edge?
I didn't try Internet Explorer. I did Edge and Firefox on Windows and Chrome on Windows, and then Firefox on mobile. And they all work.
Well, there's obviously a few issues with it. Apparently, since they took it away, sounds like once they get those issues resolved, it'll be coming right back. But I mean, as far as a first step, as far as a beta, I'm exceptionally happy. I mean, obviously, there's a lot that we want to add to it. There's a bunch that we hope to see on it. But for a first step, I'm excited.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I had sort of settled on Chrome on my desktop and just resized it so it took up a chunk of my screen on the left-hand side as opposed to full screen, because it's kind of a waste of space that way. But and then it's just like having a little app on your desktop instead of taking up the whole screen. So and of course it's a beta, so every once in a while you'd have to punch the refresh button to get it back again, but still in all, it's seemed to work. It was this morning, it was pretty funny. I had it running that way with Chrome on my desktop, and I also have Visor on my desktop. And Visor, if you don't know, is like a screen mirroring app, so that you can have your entire phone on your desktop kind of thing. And anything you can do with your phone, you can do through the desktop, including your mouse and keyboard and whatnot. And getting a little off subject, but you can even, on my Surface, I can touch the screen and flick things and whatever on the phone right on my PC screen. But anyway, what the funny thing was that I added some stickers in a group and completely different stickers showed up one for one in BBM Desktop. So I can't remember. I don't remember what the name of the little green guy in BBM was. What they're, good sized stickers, but he's like some green guy. It's like they're 3 years old or 4 years old. And so I put up 4 in a row from Star Trek of Spock, and one for one would come up this green guy instead. Proper stickers, but completely different sticker pack in BBM Desktop.
I saw you drop all the Spock in there. I saw Spock
on the desktop.
Geez, I don't know.
Yeah, well, if you go to the desktop and scroll back, you might see that green guy I'm talking about. Either that or it's a local problem on my phone using BBM Desktop. So beta, yes, that's for sure.
It seems like the more I use it too, the more I'm having to hit that refresh. It may be, could it be that more people are using it, so we're seeing more glitches than that? Because that first day it was just perfect for me. The very first day I used it, I had no problems. And then the second day I had to start hitting that refresh to keep it updated.
Right. Huh.
I guess the more the merrier is not always a good thing, right? I don't know.
Maybe.
I think so. As you said earlier, I was one of the people who did the update for the latest BBM update and lost my desktop privileges, I guess. I don't know if this was just like they didn't say it was, but I wonder if this was just something that was in the beta that wasn't supposed to be in the beta. Because when I had my meeting with folks over MTech 2 weeks ago, they told me about BBM Desktop, but they were very like, keep it quiet, keep it quiet, keep it quiet. We don't want anybody to know about it just yet. And it seemed like they were far off from letting this thing out in the public, or let beta testers, at least. It sounded like they were going to have like a private beta testing program and then roll it out to users. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where they wanted to keep it quiet and out of beta, but since it got into beta, sure, it's in there, whatever. Let people have it or let people use it.
I kind of get the same feeling with that BBMoji, because that was something that was mentioned, and another one of those things like, hey, can I report on this? No, hold off on this, and
yeah,
all of a sudden we got that notification this morning that didn't work. And I went back and I asked, it's like, hey, when is this going to work? And it took a while to get a response. And the response was, it'll be active once it's on the main build. And then shortly thereafter, it was removed in that newest update. So I kind of have a feeling may have leaked out.
Yeah.
Maybe someone pushed a button that they shouldn't have pushed.
I
The
think
reaction was go.
I think they kind of did. I mean, they said they've been beta testing this thing. It's what they've been using in the MTech HQs to kind of communicate in the office, for that matter. And
right, internally,
yeah, it was an internal thing, and it just seemed like it was very cut and dry, or very bare bone BBM for it to come out. For the desktop version to come out, you have to think there was no photo sharing option, there was no stickers or emojis or anything like that. Emojis have been a staple for BBM since day one, pretty much, or not day one. It's 4.0 or whatever it was, and photo sharing's been there just as long. So I feel those are three features that you don't roll out BBM desktop beta version or to public beta version, for that matter, without it being. If it's not there, I don't think it was supposed to be ready for the public to even see it firsthand, for that matter.
Yeah. Well, I guess another possibility is that they let it out for a week or something like that, got some information, and then took it away and said, okay, we got some more work to do. We'll see you in a month or something.
With that, I would have rather them say, hey, we're going to select 100 people and we're going to whitelist their BlackBerry IDs and say, here, let us know how you think about this desktop program or desktop client that we have. I personally, everyone was comparing it to Blend, and it's kind it's kind of the same thing, but you don't have to install any programs onto your computer, which is fantastic. Even Dave was saying he was using it on the dreaded Internet Explorer, and that was, for anything to work on Internet Explorer, it's a miracle for one thing.
Well, I actually forgot to try Internet Explorer, Brad. I tried Edge.
Well, you just ruined my joke, man. You just said, hey, yeah, it works, whatever.
Yeah, but then I'd be a liar, and I only do that on Saturdays, so that's tomorrow.
Yeah, we're close enough.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, I love the fact that I didn't have to install it on a desktop client or install any type of application onto because I still have BlackBerry Blend sitting on every computer I've ever used it on, and I don't use it anymore. But it's a program that just sits there now, unfortunately. Yeah. I was actually, like Dave, I was kind of using it on my tablet too. I have an Android tablet that I actually have a BBM account on it, just for the heck of it. But I was using the desktop client in Chrome, and it worked very well. Not that I could see myself, really using it that much on the Android tablet, but I could see it for someone like a Surface tablet or someone who uses like maybe an iPad or something like that for work purposes. But yeah, it worked really well. It chatted.
I found
it messaged very well, for that matter.
What I found interesting is that you can have the same BBM account on more than one device because of it. So as an example, I was using it on my DTEC 60, and it's the same account I have natively on my Motion, right? And so the same thing for your tablet. You haven't been able to do that before, kind of thing.
Yeah, but I wonder if it doesn't even see that there is another account on there, because it is just a web client and it's not looking for any type of sign of a PIN number. Because when they were actually telling me about BBM Desktop, they're like, oh, it's just going to be something that just kind of mimics what's going on your phone and brings it over to your computer. My specific question was, hey, you got BBM Desktop, how does it work? Is it creating another pin somewhere, or is it creating another BlackBerry ID somewhere? No, it just copies what's going on your phone, brings it over to the computer itself that you're using, or the browser that you're using it on. So I don't think it checks for any type of PIN number or any.
Well, yeah, it does. That's what that QR code is. And so there's a server there that MTech's running. This is my theory, and I'm sticking to it. And so that's where our BBM databases are, because they moved. And so your phone goes there to get its information, and then through that QR code, your browser goes there now, and it's the server that ties those two things together, right?
Yeah, they tie them together, but I don't think when it ties it together, it doesn't go back to the device to say, "Hey, is there already a BBM or a BBM account on this device?" To not let
not at all. It's just I mean it's just mirroring in your browser, and then when you shut down your browser, it's all gone. And I think you two are having two different conversations
about this. Yeah, well, probably.
Not me. I'm having the same conversation over and over again.
He's just talking to himself.
Groundhog Day was a while ago. Or something.
Roy, you alive over there, buddy?
I'm live. I didn't use the BBM Desktop, so...
you didn't use it?
No, I'm not on beta.
You can get the APK.
Well, yeah, you can. Yeah, that's true.
I don't like to install APK.
I might need that APK, by the way.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's still in the group chat somewhere.
I always prefer to wait to the stable and official release.
Well, I'm not stable, so I'll try anything.
Yeah. I use, application beta programs are fine. I was always the one that stood away, kept away from those BlackBerry OS beta leaks or whatever way back in the day. Those are things I kind of sometimes I tried, sometimes I didn't try, but the apps are I don't know.
There's definitely some stability issues in the beta, or at least that beta. I haven't updated to the newest one because I don't want to give up my desktop. But like I keep freezing up and having to force close the app, going from channels to chats, going back and forth there. That's where I keep freezing up, and it is annoying. So I'm really hoping that gets resolved quickly, and whatever next update brings the desktop with it.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that stuff. Although I did see when we did the desktop stuff, if you look at the web address, I'm actually very proud of MTech that they are no longer calling it BBM Messenger. It's now the web address is BB Messenger. So they're actually getting it right and they're listening to me. So very proud of that. We're learning.
BBMessaging.com.
I was finding myself kind of questioning the BBMoji. I kind of want it to be BBMoji.
I think they would try to, but I think there's some kind of, I don't know, copyright or legal, I don't know, something somewhere in there that stops them from doing it, because that would make sense, right? A BBM emoji, whatever, instead of BB emoji. That BlackBerry, does BlackBerry want their name tied to it that closely, or does BBM want it tied to it?
I mean, that's what it is. It's BBMoji.
Yeah.
It's BBM, but it's, if you break it down the letters, so is it now BlackBerry Moji instead of BlackBerry Messenger Moji?
BlackBerry now re-owns BBM again. Woohoo! Right?
Guys, maybe it's BBMoji.
Oh, it could be.
Is that like? Never mind. We won't go into those jokes.
Dave, what's in a name?
It's the original gangster.
We got two Brads. We can't really complain about names at this point.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the other Brad can, because he wants my name. So.
Yeah, it's true. But my BBM pin is better than yours. I saw that today. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm not worried about that.
I don't think you guys should be comparing pins with Roy around. That's my opinion.
Roy was waiting for that joke. He was sitting there waiting for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else do we have? We've talked about the BBM Desktop.
It's an inside joke that needs to stay on the inside.
It's not really inside when it started on the blogcast. It was just like 70 episodes ago or so. So if somebody wants to know the joke, just start rewatching all of our podcasts.
Yeah. We'll let you know when you get there.
And then when you're done, just come back around in the same.
Yeah, right.
You're
there.
You have to descend and then ascend all the way up the. Oh, and then while you're at it, just come watch my podcast too, and hit my subscribe button.
Absolutely.
What was a month or so back? Somebody went back and pulled up our episode number 1. It's like, whoa!
Sorry, I don't know that.
See?
Alexa doesn't know that.
Sorry.
Yeah. I would say the name too, but she would wake up.
Did we explain what BBMoji is? Or did we all just giggle about it?
Possibly. But I mean, it looks like it's going to be stickers, personalized stickers that we make, you know, and we'll make it to look like us, and then there will be a series of stickers that takes that face and puts them on the sticker. So it's a lot like the Bitmoji, except this will be internal and integral to BBM.
But who's really running it, BBM or Bitmoji?
Do you think it has some connection to Bitmoji?
I would think.
I never used or saw the Bitmoji thing, so I don't know how similar they look or whatever.
So
I don't think that'd be called BBMoji if they did, because Bitmoji works with other apps. Is it Snapchat that they're part of?
That's what I'm thinking. So if they partner, I mean, it would make sense. It would be a great partnership for that matter. You know, hey, you know, let's go with Bitmoji. They already have, you know, the Snapchat market down. They know what's going on there. For some reason, who wants to be part of that for anyways? But, you know, MTech could have been like, hey, we want to use your Bitmoji stuff. We want to call it something else. We want to call it BBMojis just to fit in with our product. I could, you know, if they throw enough money at Bitmoji, they could probably do so.
I just don't think that. Yeah. I don't think Bitmoji would be up for that, because I mean that's their branding. It's called Bitmoji within Snapchat. I can't imagine them going.
Yeah,
oh well.
I was going to go that way too, Brad, because you know, you look at BBM's integration with Glimpse. It's called Glimpse. You look at BBM's integration with Uber. It's called Uber, and you know, on and on that goes. But you never know.
Yeah.
It's only me, or the only things that we got in the last year are emojis features all over the platforms.
Well, that's what BBM's go. That's what MTech's going for. They're
not just MTech. Every OS, the only thing that improved is the emojis. You can look at iPhone. Now on MWC, I saw, I think, the Galaxy 9 have new emojis, and now BBM. It seems like everyone wants emojis.
Well, that's the hieroglyphic language of this day and age. That's how give it 4 or 5 years. That's how we're going to be speaking to each other. It's not going to be sentences. It's just going to be smiley faces.
No, and when you finally actually maybe even really meet somebody in public, you'll just show them your phone. Yeah. That's how I'm feeling right now. You won't say anything. You'll just have this thing on your screen that says,
you just have like a face on a stick and just keep.
All I want to know is, will my Bitmoji and my BBMoji be able to have a party?
No.
Because that's what I want.
Say sure, yeah. Just like your old Barbie and Ken dolls. Why not?
I mean, they could hang. They're both chill people. Sorry, I was just trying to stop the grandpa tirade, so you guys can continue with whatever you all were talking about.
Grandpa tirade. Get off my virtual lawn.
With your BBMoji.
Yeah. Or something.
Yeah, I'm excited for the BBMoji. I really am.
I am too.
And I think it will be a draw to some people out there, because I mean that Bitmoji is really overused by some of my friends. Not necessarily you, Erica, since we just started seeing them.
I'm adorable and hilarious, so I knew you couldn't be talking about me.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they're going after the younger crowd, that's
Yeah.
and you could take that same concept of a Bitmoji, but make it a sticker format. You can spread all over the world, all over the place with your BBM contacts. It's you know, it's definitely going to be something that will hopefully draw enough attention into what they're trying to do with BBM and such.
Well, it also said avatar and stickers. So I'm thinking that we'll probably also be able to use that as our avatar.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I don't think I noticed that. Okay.
Either that, or it's going to be you can use your BBMoji in the next Avatar movie.
Right. Or something.
Yeah, next topic.
Roy, that's Roy's bored voice.
Hey, did you guys know what's available now to purchase in the United States?
What?
I'm afraid of where this is going.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
The BlackBerry Key 1 Black Edition is now available to purchase in the United States.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Tell me more.
You can now of course the outsider is doing the topics here on the podcast here for you guys, but yeah, you can go and purchase from BlackBerry Mobile's favorite online retailers, Amazon and BestBuy.com, the Black edition of the BlackBerry Key 1. Keep in mind this is the 64 gig internal memory and 4 gigs of RAM version of the BlackBerry Key 1, the one that I'm desperately waiting to purchase myself, but it's $549.99, which is well worth the price. And I haven't really heard of anything about shipping wise. I'm guessing they're available as quickly as possible. And get yours today. Pretty exciting news.
Go to that Best Buy mobile store and oh wait.
Well, you can still go to
me.
You can still go to Best Buy mobile locations because they're still in the Best Buy stores. You just can't go to the standalone Best Buy mobiles.
You can until May.
Yeah.
This announcement brought to you by a Blogcast sponsor, BlackBerry Reporter.
Yep, exactly. You guys are just lucky I'm still in the podcast mode from last night.
Yay.
Well, since you brought it back to the devices off of BBM, I think it was Roy posted on UTB the Android, what is it, the Google recommended business devices. What was it called, Roy?
Oh, the enterprise recommended devices by Google.
Which both the BlackBerry Key 1 and Motion were there, and surprisingly, not a single Samsung device was there.
Yeah, that is a new list made by Google for enterprises. There is a list of demands or requirements of what needs to be, and you can see that most devices are Google friends, you can say. They have the zero-touch enrollment. This is the main feature that you need to have, and Samsung don't do it.
There's one main feature that I found very interesting that was in the requirements to be within that list, and that was 3 years of security updates.
Yeah,
which is weird for BlackBerry because they only have 2.
Previously, they had 2. Now they're in this list, and I'm waiting to hear some sort of announcement because part of this list is 3 years of support.
Well, I think the Key 1s have something to do with that. Because if you think, BlackBerry Mobile keeps rolling out these different versions of the Key 1 or Key 1s in different areas in different regions. So when we first heard of BlackBerry's 2-year security update guarantee, they always told us it was from the beginning of the sales of the device. So if you take that from the beginning of the sales of the device, a lot of these countries are just starting to get the Key 1s starting this year, for that matter.
So BlackBerry Mobile released when every device will stop getting their updates. So the Key 1, the Silver Edition, will stop in May next year, I think.
Yeah, but there's some countries that are just started getting the key one.
It doesn't matter. There will be countries with only half a year of updates if it will be released in their markets just before the end. They released that the Black Edition and the Space Black have different dates.
When did they release that, Roy?
The Key 1 Black Edition.
I mean, when did they release those dates?
I saw it on German site.
Because I think there's things changing. I really do, because they said 2 years. They've always said 2 years. And it is a mandate of being part of this Google program. It's 3 years. And I know that nobody on that list has promised 3 years, but it's kind of a mandate of being on that list. So I have a feeling there's some wheeling and dealing going on with Google that's going to change what everybody's guaranteed.
Well, I think Google actually does guarantee 3 years, right?
Google, yes, Google, and I believe the what's that phone that was such a failure that the Google founder
Essential, whatever.
What? Forget.
Yeah, the
what did you say?
The Essential phone.
Oh, Essential, yeah. They're the only ones that guaranteed 3 years.
Yeah,
everybody else guaranteed 2.
Even if this didn't happen, even if this whole Android ready for enterprise thing didn't happen, I have a feeling that BlackBerry was gonna BlackBerry was gonna change their time frame, because 2 years is, well, I get it. Not everyone, most people upgrade their phones every 2 years. We're getting still into this day and age where there's a lot of people that still hang on to their devices years, and I just have been having a feeling that eventually BlackBerry, what's 3 years, seems a lot better than 2. So,
especially if you're trying to sell devices to enterprise customers, because businesses don't change phones every year. They just don't.
Nope.
3 is always better than 2, unless it's hits to the head with a baseball bat.
Or nipples. Sometimes that can be a problem.
Yeah, that's...
You had to go there.
Literally.
Hey, something like, what is it, like 20% of people have an extra one. So, hey, I don't want to point fingers at anybody.
How does this become a topic?
It's the nipples casts.
You don't want to be
about to
lopsided.
unfriend all of you.
Okay, so just to prove that Brad's right, everybody show it now.
All the listeners.
No.
Okay,
but yeah. So I mean, Roy, this is a brand new list, right? How new is this list that they just started doing?
What I about?
The Android.
I saw
last week.
No, I saw it 3 or 2 months ago.
Not the Android list. Brad's talking about the Android list, not the BlackBerry.
The Android on 3-4 weeks ago.
Do you know if that's like the first time they started kind of?
Yeah, that's the first list.
Okay, because I was going to say that it's very weird for BlackBerry to not be on that list, or not kind of come out. If that was, say, like that was 2 years, they've been doing this for 2 years, it would be shocking to see that BlackBerry is just now getting onto that list. But I mean, it's good news for BlackBerry, right? It's a great thing that they can tote home about with the, hey, we have devices that are enterprise ready. And, we've been hearing for so long that BlackBerry as a company is getting away from devices. And I was thinking about this last night. Think about, like, security-wise, as a company, enterprise or security-based company, they're always going to be tied to those phones, right? They're always going to be tied to BlackBerry devices because, again, they have the name BlackBerry on them, right? So it's kind of good, nice to see BlackBerry just be like, not being, forget the phones. We're not doing anything with them anymore. We're not mentioning them, that we are associated with them anymore. And it's, just nice to see that they're, have something to kind of tote home about with the devices still. Cue the crickets.
Silence. Yeah, silence.
Well, this Google list came out like a week ago.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm sure that that's been in the works for a while, but don't make me go looking for it. But I mean, actually, I'll go looking for it. You guys discuss amongst yourselves, because I'm telling you that stuff that came out prior about support is changing, because none of the phones on this list was offering 3 years of support. None of them. But it's part of the rules for being one of these Google preferred devices.
You think BlackBerry had anything to do with this list being generated?
I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Say here, hey Google, here's a couple $1,000,000. Can you just generate a list of enterprise-ready devices and make sure our phones are always on there?
I don't think that BlackBerry have those millions to throw on Google, and Google needs those millions.
Yeah, I don't think BlackBerry's that insecure in their security.
I don't think they're insecure in the security. I think they just want to get the word out about their security.
I think that a lot of enterprises, a lot of organizations are listening to Google, and when they deploy their devices for employees, and Google wants to be a market leader on enterprise. And this list is very reasonable. If you think about Google want to be a market leader, that organizations will listen to Google about which device the best support and Google Enterprise ready.
Yeah. And I mean, it also goes back to, like you said, a lot of people listen to Google, but if you look at the enterprise smartphone fields, Google is, I don't even know the numbers off the top of my head, but Android devices are not as well used in the enterprise field as, let's say, an iOS device, right? Because iOS has the marketing behind it. Google's, close behind, Apple devices in the enterprise world, but not as close as they want to be. So that, that makes hence this list saying, hey, we have a lot of enterprise ready devices that you can use,
I think the Pixels, other the Blackberries, maybe LG or something. Maybe it's not. You will not see them Samsung. Samsung have their enterprises.
Yeah. Well, Samsung likes to go and do their own thing, and that's Google's never liked that idea. So Google's like, well, You're not coming on to our list. You can go have your Knox party.
Mm-hmm. Plus, I mean, Apple is really going crazy trying to get enterprise customers. I mean, they're offering them all kinds of deals. So Google is going to try and combat Apple, obviously.
Yeah. Yep. And it's, good to see for Google. I'd rather, Android devices be rolled out more in enterprise than iOS devices, of course, but because that means there's a good chance BlackBerry devices will be into the mix as well. And we don't want Apple to win anything, right? So it's nice to see Google fighting that battle there, and BlackBerry's going to benefit from it because they're going to be on that list, and people are like, oh, BlackBerry devices, we know them, but we know that they know security, so let's hop on board that train.
Yeah, but for BlackBerry itself, they prefer that organizations will use UEM solution. Yep. They don't care which device your organization uses, because when you're UEM user, you can use an iPhone or Xiaomi or anything else, you will be secure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So for BlackBerry, which if the devices are in the list or not in the list, I don't think it's that much important for them.
No,
They prefer
it's more
Google.
important for Google. Yeah.
It's more important for BlackBerry Mobile, I think. But I think Google can recommend their MDM solutions. Which one will be better for the Android devices, and their UEM will be on the top.
Yeah.
Security patches from device manufacturers delivered within 90 days, guaranteed for 3 years, and also one major letter upgrade per device. Those are the guarantees as
From
being
BlackBerry?
part of this program.
Oh, from Google. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it takes to be Android Enterprise recommended. So any of these phones on this list has to meet those requirements to be on that list.
Oh man. Well, technically the Priv should be on there, right? That one letter grade up.
It's not receiving security patches anymore.
I received them for 2 years. What are you talking about? Hey, you guys know any good ghost stories?
Really?
Yeah.
You know, we do have a topic list, Brad. Just because you didn't read it.
No one
Yeah,
sent-
and a ghost story is on there.
yeah, no one sent it to me, but I'm just trying to segue into the next topic that's on there somewhere.
Okay, talk about the ghost.
Why do I have to talk about it? I just segue into it.
You're the one that brought it up, so do it.
All right, so there is a rumored device that is floating around out there labeled the BlackBerry Ghost. And this BlackBerry Ghost is looks like the next device to come from the folks over in Optiemus, over in India, and it looks like to be their first real new BlackBerry device. If you think, they did roll out the BlackBerry Key 1, but that's just a rebrand of the BlackBerry mobile's device. So it's great to see Optiemus starting to come out with their own device. And if you look at the leaked photo from Evan Blast over there, it kind of shows off a little glance at the device. Doesn't give off too much or give away too much, but it does look to have a edge-to-edge display or bezel-less display, which is nice, and it has a very premium look to it. It looks like a really good phone. Just from the photo, we haven't seen too many other photos about it, but from just what it looks to be, it's really nice. And like I said, great news for folks in India looking to get this phone from Optiemus. Wondering why it took them so long. We all know that they launched the Key 1 back early last year, or a little bit after the Key 1 last year. But I would have thought that they would have something else coming quickly afterwards.
I'm wondering if they even have had prior to this a design group, because I don't know much about Optiemus, but when I was looking into it, when we first heard about them, it sounded like their primary task was to build phones for other companies, to meet that India's standards as far as how much has to be produced within the country. So, I mean, they're making the BlackBerry phones now too, but they were also making, what was it? Was it LG, I think, and Samsung? I mean, they were making all these other brands' devices to be sold in India.
Yeah. I mean, it's even, we've seen technically 3 phones come out of BlackBerry Mobile, or 2 devices. The Key 1 got 2 different variants, I guess. And if you look at Optiemus, if you look at BBM, they've only had 2 or 1 device each, and Optiemus had the Key 1 rebranding pretty much. So in my books, that's half of a new device, I guess. It will be interesting to see what these 2 other manufacturers or license agreement partners have in store for customers in those regions. I mean, I haven't heard anything about the Aurora, but I'm going to guess that device sold pretty well. I would buy it if I'm in Indonesia. But interesting to see. I really like the code name Ghost, which is nice.
Yeah, when I
kinda
saw
gets-
that, I said, "Holy sheet!" Quite surprising.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the things that I sort of found surprising was the continued use of the Snapdragon 625, supposedly.
Yeah, but from what I've read up, folks in India aren't really spec crazy like we are in this. I don't know.
Yeah, but still, it's got some kind of a shelf life or what? I mean, stuff. Things move on. I mean, is the 660 really that out of reach monetarily at this point? I mean, it's been out for what, a year?
I think they just liked what they saw with battery life with the Q1 and the motion.
That's it. I mean, what is the number one selling point of these new BlackBerry phones? It's the battery life.
Yeah.
I talked about this on my own little one-man podcast, and it's like, I am not willing to sacrifice the battery life. If you want to throw in another chip in there that has a higher number, but then we're sacrificing the battery life and not getting that much performance-wise out of it, I don't think that's a good choice.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah. I think people Optimus loves the idea of the 625 and what they saw with it in the motion in the Key 1. And they're like, hey, if it's working, the 625 is not a horrible processor. It's not slow. It doesn't. I've seen zero hiccups with either one of those two devices.
Exactly.
As far as performance goes, it's is it great for gaming? Probably not. But
you're not going to buy a BlackBerry for gaming.
You're not buying a BlackBerry device for gaming. The productivity concept than anything. So
yeah, you're not going to get an argument out of me. If I only got an Android tablet that I use for lyrics for the band, and it's got a Snapdragon 425 in it, and it's just fine, thank you very much. And the battery life on it is even more ridiculous than any kind of phone I've ever had. It's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
but my only thing in that regard was, what is the viability of the 625? How long is it around for? That is, that it's logical to use it. Time marches on, and nothing lasts forever, and that's all I was getting at.
Oh yeah, I could definitely, longevity wise. I mean, I don't think that you'll see a problem longevity wise. I think I think price has a lot to do with that too. I mean, again, we're all speculating if this is really the process that they're going with. That's just a leaked or a rumored concept here, but I think the 625 is now cheap enough where, hey, it's cheap enough. It performs well with a battery. We know it performs well with BlackBerry's OS or BlackBerry Android OS. So why not? Let's use it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking, I know this wasn't your point, but if you're looking at, the Priv, right? The Priv had the 808 processor. How well did that processor work? It's that worked well for heating up my breakfast in the morning, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting such a good experience with my motion and my Key 1. Like, I don't know. I know there's people out there that just want higher specs just so that they can say they've got higher specs. And I would rather have something that worked for me and gave me my battery life. I've never been a spec guy. I never have been, but these phones are working perfect. And I'm more of the sort that says, you know what, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Just see that the first device made by Meraputi is a full touch device. The first one made by Optiemus is rumored to be a full touch device.
Yeah.
The first device made by BlackBerry Mobile and probably the next two are physical keyboards. So
yeah, that's interesting. And it probably has a lot to do with the region. I know Indonesia wise, it's touchscreen galore. They don't really, I shouldn't say keyboards aren't popular, because if you remember back in the heydays of BlackBerry success, you went into any Indonesia mall or outlet, there is 30,000 BlackBerry third-party retailers that sold every BlackBerry device that was known at that time. So there was a market for keyboards at one time, and I'm sure there still is one, but I'm sure I know that touchscreens and devices over in Indonesia, for that matter, are more of a social device than more of a business device. India, I don't know if that's the same concept over there, but I would think that's another, touchscreen devices are more popular over there than keyboards, which is a weird concept as well, because think of the US or North America for that matter, keyboard devices are no longer popular anymore. It's all touchscreen based devices. So, take it for you. What is
whoever's making the devices has to look at what they can sell, and just looking at the commercials that we saw for the Aurora, everything was focused on the camera. Everything was focused on, and so obviously that's their selling point over there. Now, in India, I know nothing about India, but if you look at the first device they're doing, and if this leaked device is real, it's all about the appearance of it, right? It's got that bezel-less display.
Yeah,
it looks like that's going to be the big selling factor for that. Here, if you want a bezel-less display, there's plenty to choose from. If you want a touchscreen, there's plenty to choose from. And BlackBerry doesn't really have that name anymore to where it's got people rushing out to buy the new BlackBerry, except for us. And those of us that are doing that, the majority of us are keyboard lovers. I really think the keyboard is the selling factor for us in the Western world, even though the keyboard just isn't that popular. But you look at what the one guy said about what their aim for the market is, or their market share. They're being realistic. They're looking at, this is the group of people that we can go after, and this is what we're going to produce for.
Yeah. And, keep in mind, this is while the Ghost is the first device designed by Optiemus, it's not the first device sold by Optiemus over in India. So technically their first device was a keyboard device. Now their second device is technically a touchscreen device. So, it depends on how you look at it, but it is interesting to see that the first device that they come up with on their own is a full touch, bezel-less display. So it'd be really interesting to see. Can't wait to see what it kind of folds into. And, I doubt that the name Ghost will stick. It's probably just a code name or development name. But can you imagine that next month Optiemus releases the BlackBerry Ghost in Ghost Black?
That would be awesome.
Or Ghost White.
I would love to see names like that, like actual names, not just code names.
Yeah. If you think about the, they could have done with the Mercury Black and Mercury Silver.
Hey, on the Ghost, are they going to have Boo Boo M? Shut up, Dave.
Are the repair shops going to be called Ghostbusters, or?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Do you have to
Sorry, your phone got slimed.
Do we have to get Dan Aykroyd to fix your phone?
All I missed are ghost jokes.
Yeah, good ghost jokes in the middle of the podcast. Why not? All right, someone else do topics. I don't have a topic list.
The only thing left that we haven't talked about is the BlackBerry world changes coming.
Are we surprised about that, though?
No, but okay. I've seen some people kind of questioning it and thinking it means something else. realistically, we know BlackBerry World is going to close. It's going to close December 31st of 2019.
Mhm.
So making this move is just smart. You know, you don't want somebody buying an app in November and going, wait a minute, now it's not supported by BlackBerry anymore. I hate BlackBerry, you know,
Or
which
I want
we
my
know
money
would
back.
happen.
Or,
Yeah. So
And it's one more step to close the store. They need to remove apps slowly, and this is one of the steps to do it.
I don't think they need to remove the apps, and I don't think they're hoping that the apps leave. I mean, they
don't
made
want-
it to where the developers can self-monetize their apps if they want to.
They don't want
They just
to,
don't want to.
They don't want people to buy apps or get refunds anymore.
yeah.
Right. They want out of the money side of it.
Which is
Yeah,
fine.
there's nothing, from what I've heard, there's nothing stopping a developer from, excuse me, going into their account and changing their app from being 99
No,
cents.
They can do it till 31 March.
Yeah. So it's not
But
like
if
they'll
that
necessarily
developer-
go away. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like but I mean, we know that Oliver's not going to give away an app. We know that. So if he wants to monetize his apps, he can do it within the app. You know, he can set it up to go to this paywall so that you can use this app. And
Right.
BlackBerry said, do it. You know, they're totally okay with that. They just want no part of the financial side themselves anymore.
Right.
You don't have to cry about it, Erica. Oh.
I'm sorry, I don't do well with change.
Yeah. As soon as we start talking about BlackBerry World closing, then that's when the crying starts.
Well, we
Okay.
do have some comments in the chat, and I mean, unless somebody wanted to continue beating that dead horse.
No,
Did
go
you?
for it. Go for it.
Yeah,
Comment away.
let's see. Romeo asks, do you guys think that they will ever give us back the ability to use our BBM IDs across platforms again, from BB10 to Android and iOS? And I answered right away in the chat, no. And I mean,
No.
yeah, that change happened because they split the databases. That's exactly. We lost Brad?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's exactly why that change happened, was because, and I mean, they've been very upfront about that Android and iOS BBM users are now under the Intech group, whereas BB10 BBM is still under BlackBerry. So I mean, that roadway has been closed off now. They're not going to reopen it.
No, I got to agree that the chances are 0.
Yep.
He went on to say, do you guys think they will? No. He asked if it was because we thought BB10 was dead in the water. I'll let somebody else answer that one.
We have next.
Whether it was or it wasn't, it doesn't matter. Again, you go back to the databases being split, and it just wouldn't matter. That's just.
Roy, you have a mute button, my friend.
No. We have a next topic.
Daniel asks.
Congress with BlackBerry Mobile said that they want 3 to 5% of the premium market.
I wasn't done with the comments, Roy. I'm all prepped here. Hold on. We'll come back and talk about that.
I will just start charging my laptop because my battery is on.
Well, you do that.
Daniel asks in the chat, besides an unlocking company, what's another good site to be able to unlock my BlackBerry Classic? I have a key one, but love the Classic no matter what. And really, I mean, and I believe it has to do with where you're from, right? I mean, in Canada now, you can have your devices unlocked by law, right, Dave?
Yes, if you purchased a device, let's say the carrier I'm on, TELUS, if you bought it through them, then all you have to do is call them up and they'll unlock it for you. And the other two large carriers in Canada are the same way. So Rogers or Bell, if you have a device that you've had for a long time, but it's still locked to that carrier, you should be able to call them up. And I don't know how much fun this routine is, because it might be fun, if you know what I'm saying. Fun in quotes. They will unlock it for you, and they'll do it at no charge. And I think you're likely to have much less of a difficult time doing that if you are still current with them, or maybe have a new device with them or whatever. And of course, any new device that you'd get from a carrier today is unlocked. I got my Motion from TELUS previous to them having to sell me an unlocked device, and it was unlocked.
And here in the U.S., it's the same sort of thing now, that they have to unlock it if you're through with your contract and through with your payments, however your deal is. So, I mean, if you aren't in the U.S. or aren't in Canada and you want your device unlocked, I mean, the only thing I can think of is if it's not set up in your country, then yeah, you would need to use one of those unlocking services.
Yeah, and I think the thing to do first is call your carrier. Just do that.
Yeah.
Whether you think they do it or not, just do it.
For unlocking devices?
We used to here in the U.S. And I mean, if even now, if my device is still tied to the carrier is not going to unlock it for me without a fee.
We have a rule that every carrier must sell all devices unlocked.
Yeah, and that's true in Canada now.
And we were pushing for that, and Verizon, who always sold unlocked, is now locking their phones because of theft.
They always do the opposite. Everybody use GSM, they use CDMA. Why?
Why?
Apparently, Brother Nil says, did you guys hear about the alert that was sent out to custom PIN subscribers on BB10? BBM payments have been discontinued. I didn't hear about that, and I think all of us have moved our custom pins over to Android now, but it makes sense because BlackBerry's not wanting to be that storefront anymore, the same as BlackBerry World.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all the comments. Roy, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, thank you very much. We had Mobile World Congress. We didn't see any device, but the new general manager of BlackBerry Mobile said that they want 3 to 5% of market share. Until now, they had a success with the Key 1 and Motion. It didn't say Key 1 Motion, but they said they have a success. So we can guess it means Key 1 and Motion.
Let me clarify what you just said, because I keep reading that everywhere. And if you read the quote, it's much different, because what everybody keeps reporting is that BlackBerry Mobile wants 3 to 5% of the market share. What he actually said was 3 to 5% of the premium market share isn't bad.
Of course.
But he said isn't bad. So number one, he's not talking about the global market share. He's talking about the premium market. And he didn't say they're aiming for that. He said it's not bad.
The first step is aiming for 3 to 5. When they reach and get this target, I guess they will aim to 10 or 20. It all depends when he interviewed. So
you gotta define the market, because I mean we don't know what he said. I mean, we know what he said. He said he at no point did he say we're aiming for 3 to 5%. He said literally 3 to 5% of the premium market share isn't bad. So, I mean, first of all, what does he consider the premium market share? Is that just iPhone? Is that iPhone and the Galaxy S8, S9? If he's looking at just those devices, is he saying we've got 3 to 5% of the premium market share?
They still don't have it, at least not on premium. I think that the next
define premium. How do you know what he's talking about premium? Because that's what I'm saying. What's being reported and what he said are two entirely different things. And what you just quoted him saying is entirely different from what he said. So, I mean, I have no problem with saying that, yeah, they're aiming for 3 to 5% of the premium market share, but he didn't say they're aiming for it. He was saying that they're doing very well, and 3 to 5% of this undefined market share is pretty good. Just saying.
Yeah. I don't think that the Key One or the Motion are premium devices. And he probably wants a device that can compete with the Galaxy 9 and iPhone X. I think the Key One and Motion are mid-range.
Okay, so what do you see then being requirements for a BlackBerry branded premium phone then? Does it have a Snapdragon 660 in it?
To sell a premium device. Premium device is high specs.
Yeah.
It's a high specs device with price that go along with this kind of device. But I think that BlackBerry Mobile are just want market share, some market share, to bring back BlackBerry to people. And after everyone will know that BlackBerry are not dead, BlackBerry Mobile make devices, the mid-range devices are very good devices, then they will make a premium device, because nobody will buy a premium device when you don't know how good the other devices they make. You can see the Priv. The Priv was premium device. Nobody bought it.
Yeah, it was like one processor step down from whatever was current at the time or whatever. So it was a higher spec device, no doubt.
Yeah. I think BlackBerry Mobile will continue to capture more market share with more good devices before they will make a premium device that will try to compete with Samsung and Apple or any company that makes premium devices.
Okay, here's his actual quote.
Okay.
In terms of establishing BlackBerry and Key One over the last year, if you look at our global footprint, we're everywhere. It's hard to find somewhere where the Key One is not available. 3 to 5% market share in the premium tier is a nice share, and it shows that we're heading in the right direction. We know grabbing market share from the big two giants is not easy. Again, 3 to 5% market share in the premium tier is a nice share, and it shows that we're heading in the right direction. That does not sound to me like we're aiming for 3 to 5%. How I read that is that we've got 3 to 5% market share in the premium tier. I want to know what that premium tier is. I want it defined. I want to know what he's considering that premium tier. Because I just mean just English. This is not him saying that we're striving for it. I'm going to say it again. 3 to 5% market share in the premium tier is a nice share, and it shows we're heading in the right direction.
You know what? This is a good point. If this is what he said, and let's say that BlackBerry Mobile have 3 to 5%, so
of this
the number
undefined share.
Yes, So that means that the numbers of selling devices on 2017 that everybody published, these analysts, are false.
But it doesn't. It doesn't, because we don't know what that premium share is.
Yeah,
we don't.
You can't sell 800,000 devices and have a 3 to 5% share of anything.
How many devices were we selling when we had 3% market share with BlackBerry 10?
3 to 5 million.
I remember when we were at a 3%, and then we dropped to a 1.5%, and then we dropped to below a percentage point.
Yeah,
and I don't think we were selling
3 to 5%. 2 to 4 million devices.
That was of the global. That was a global market share. Because this isn't speaking. I mean, now we're just. I mean, I don't mean to be nitpicky, but I keep seeing this reported that BlackBerry's aiming for this market share device, or that BlackBerry's aiming for this market share, and that's not what he said. It's totally not what he said. He's saying that 3 to 5% of this premium share is a good place to be, and I don't know what that premium market is that he's defining. I don't know what it is, but if it literally is just the flagships of these companies, then 3% isn't that much.
Let's say that Apple sell like 50 million devices per quarter of their flagship device.
If you're talking flagship, then you're talking the iPhone X. And how many of those did they sell?
They sold? They sell some of the iPhone X? I thought they discontinued it. But let's say there are around 400 million devices globally a year sold by Samsung and Apple. You take this Samsung S8, 9, 7, they're all premium devices. Not new devices, but the premium devices. Even the latest iPhone devices.
Yeah,
8.
Might as well throw the Pixel in there.
Yeah, they're still premium.
But then you're expanding this market, because that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's not mutually exclusive. We don't know what he's defined as the premium market. If you want to define the premium market as the one flagship phone from each company, which would be for Apple, it would just be the iPhone X. For Samsung, it would just be the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus or whatever it is. I mean, if you want to start bringing them down to these smaller, one phone per company, then 850,000 units, I could see being 3 to 5% of that market share. Now, for us, speaking of premium devices, we're going to look at the expensive devices, or we're going to look at, the high spec devices. So yeah, if we're looking at that market share that way, then yeah, we're going to include the iPhone X, and we're going to include the iPhone 8, and we're going to include the Samsung S8, and we're going to include the Samsung Note, and then we're going to include, how many of the different OnePlus phones, and then that market starts growing, and then 850,000 doesn't match that 3%. So that's, we don't know what he's defined as that market.
Yeah, but I've got a really good idea.
That whatever he's defined as that market, well, I'm saying whatever they've defined as this market, he's saying he's got 3 to 5% of that market.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know what the market is.
Yeah, so we should ask.
That's a good idea.
Hey, what did you mean by that?
But it just kills me, because if you look at the first place that actually spoke to him and got that quote, that's not the article that's been widely quoted. I believe it's the CNET article that was widely quoted. And they're not the people that he spoke to. I believe it was, I'm looking for it right now, but I think it was TechCrunch. So, I mean, even what most people are quoting and getting the third, fourth, fifth hand stories from, just like we did, they're getting it from the place that they're getting it secondhand, you know, or third hand actually, because it's not the original quote. And it's just been, it's like that game we used to play at school where I'll tell you this and I'll tell you this and I'll tell you this. And by the time you get to the end of the line, the story's completely changed. And just that quote is not what's being reported in every headline everywhere. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what his defined market is, but I would bet money that he's saying that they have 3 to 5% of whatever market it is that he defined.
If he says that what they're doing now, they can call it a success, or at least they pleased with what they're doing, I'm happy. That means
me too.
That means more than what market share they have, because
right. And he went on to say too, well, their goal, I'm trying to find it, but I can't even find the original article now, and I'm whatever. But they're saying that their goal is to expand that market share, you know, and they don't have this crazy plan of we're going to take down Apple or we're going to take down Samsung. It's their whole goal is just to increase that market share, and that's exactly what I want to hear from them.
Yep.
Our ambition is to firmly establish ourselves above our current market share in the premium tier. So it's the same sort of thing that the point I was trying to make is, you know, people look at 850,000 phones sold by this one analyst, which personally I think Roy, you're questioning if this analyst is right. I don't have any reason not to believe the guy, because we've accepted his
numbers.
They don't, but he's looking at the chain, and that's exactly how he also came up with the numbers for the Pixel and for the Essential phone and all these other phone sales numbers that we've accepted. You know, I think we reported that the Essential phone had some pretty dismal sales from the numbers that this guy came up with. So, I mean, if we're going to accept his numbers from these other companies, I'm going to accept them from this one as well. But my thing is, if BlackBerry's happy, then that means they plan to sell less phones than that, and they sold more phones than that. And I mean, it's the same sort of thing. If BlackBerry Mobile planned to sell 700,000 phones because of such a slow rollout in so few markets, and they sold 850,000 phones, then that is a huge win. You know, if Apple planned to sell 80 million phones and only sold 70 million phones, well, then they're out of business, right? Because you plan your business around what you think you're going to sell. So, I mean, it's all about the proper plan. And we know that, I mean, I have no idea the numbers because I don't look at them anymore, but I have no idea the numbers of what Apple sold. But I think it's pretty obvious that they sold less iPhone 10s or iPhone Xs, whatever you want to call them. Someone was just murdered.
No, everybody's okay now. Nobody get hurt.
Okay, good. But I think it's fairly obvious that Apple sold less iPhone Xs than they were hoping to.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it's fairly obvious that BlackBerry Mobile sold more key ones than they were expecting to.
And the number of these analysts are just key ones. So no Motion, no Aurora in this calculation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm looking back through the chat here. We've got Brother Nil doing the same thing we were doing, which was trying to define what that market is. We don't know.
I think we have a mission to define the markets. I think Brad is the appropriate man for doing it.
Yeah. Should we talk about the what me and Rob talked about, the Priv 2, because that was commented on in the chat here, because everybody went out, including us, and published the Priv 2 with the design of the Priv that we're used to, and then turns out it was just a camera patent. So yeah.
At least for this year, I don't think we will see Priv 2 device, or at least I think even if they will release, it will not be a Priv 2. I think the name Priv is not good.
I agree.
By inception of people.
As much as I love that phone and still love that phone, it was not a success, and I don't think they're going to want to go back. I mean, if you want to go back and do like a retro name, grab the Bold, right? Grab the even the Torch. You don't want to grab a phone that was not a success and call your next phone that.
And it's just 2 or 3 years from his release, so it's still fresh on people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Call it the Storm 3. That'll work.
That's a perfect example, though. I think the Storm name is forever dead with anything related to BlackBerry. I think the Priv there too.
That I saw someone ask for the Pearl. Someone asked from BlackBerry Mobile to make a Pearl device. Maybe in Nokia nostalgia.
I won't make the joke. Just thinking.
That was one phone I never wanted. I never wanted the Pearl. Somebody did mention in here. I'm looking for it. Okay. I'd like the next BlackBerry made the ultimate business phone. I'm reading this wrong. Screen as wide as the Passport and as tall as a Priv, making a 6 inches wide screen, wide keyboard, ultimate business phone. You know,
Go ahead. Can I say that I think that BlackBerry Mobile saw that the Key 1 is good, and they, from my opinion only, I think that they will release the next keyboard device something similar to the Key 1, because it's just logic for them to do that. They will not go and make some different keyboard device or full touch device. They know that the Key 1 got good reviews. They will just I think that they will try to upgrade the Key 1.
I loved the Passport. I loved the work wide. And while I was on the Passport, I absolutely loved that keyboard, and I defended it and I preached about how great it was. Going back from the Passport to the classic BlackBerry keyboard, and that wasn't on the Key 1 first, it was on the Priv first. But even going back to the classic BlackBerry keyboard on the Priv, I will never go back to the Passport keyboard, ever. The 3-row extra wide keyboard, I won't do it. Just from a sheer comfort level and the comfort level and the ergonomics level of it, I loved it while I was on it. I'll never go back. Never.
Never say never.
Yeah, will you ever go back? Because I'm just checking.
There it is. There it is right there. And like I go back and I hold my I did this. I did this not long ago. I went back, and you hold these old phones in your hands, and they're comfortable. You play with the keyboard, and it's even my torch. It's comfortable in the hand. It feels good in the hand. I don't get that feeling from this at all, even with the round corners.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's all about the tactile nature and the size of those keys. I love that. I really like it.
I would go back to this before I would go back to that. That's a Q5, man. God, I love this phone. I love this phone so much.
Well, they all have their good points.
True.
If I comb my hair right, it won't show or something. Maybe.
So what do we got?
But anyway.
Did Erica fall asleep?
I'm still here.
Yeah, I think so.
No,
Okay,
I'm still
good.
here.
I'm looking for my other Blackberries now. I just had my little bold the other day.
Your little bold.
My little bold. What was it? I just had it out. The small bold. What was the number for that? I forget. That thing still feels so freaking good in the hand. I swear, it's like the best feeling phone ever. Bold 97. Yeah, I think it was 9700 I had here. Thanks, Neil. I still think it feels better in the hand than any other phone ever. Okay. And
stuff.
Okay, so we've a couple of us have started our podcast back up again. Roy has Simple Security,
I just want to say that.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Brad got a new podcast, at least made a comeback. Every 1 week you release 3 podcast episodes.
And hopefully Roy will be on it soon, and Erica will be on it soon. And
you should listen to Brad's podcast because they're really interesting. I heard the one with Rob and the one, yeah, with the voice notes. That's cool. I didn't know anyone steals voice notes to anyone.
I'm glad you brought that up, though.
We're 2018. Who sends voice notes?
A lot of podcasts do that. I did not come up with that idea. I stole that from other podcasts that I listen to because I really want to be able to do that. Because there's a lot of people out there that have stuff they want to say, but scheduling them on a podcast or something of that nature just isn't in the cards. So I got myself a Google Voice number that spells UTB Brad, and I got my, of course we can send voice notes through BBM and we can send them through email.
Yeah, this in chat, I will not send you a voice note speaking to you.
Why not? Bill did.
I will write you an email. Probably.
Yeah, but if you write me a comment, I'm not gonna include it on my podcast. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna say Roy had a comment, but he refused to say it, so it's not getting included.
Yeah, Brad.
Wow.
You should have ended that with nyan nyan and nyan nyan.
And Brad, I sent you a voice note this week.
You did actually.
Yeah,
you did. I'll put that on my next podcast.
I don't think so. I don't think you can.
Wow.
But it's good podcast.
If anybody's here and they want to listen to my little one-man show and sometimes guest show, please do. And please send me a voice note so that I'll have more to talk about.
Yeah, and I just released the 4th episode of Simple Security about ransomware. Please don't share any voice notes with me. You can comment or BBM me. Like they're having fun. Everybody
Roy
made jokes. And it's
Roy
not
puts the no in voice note.
It's about security, and I have 2 more interesting topics for the next month. So stay tuned for more security podcast.
And Erica's going to bring hers back when?
Never.
What day is that?
Right after hell freezes over.
I'll have to look at the calendar then.
Check the weather reports too.
I'll do
Hey,
that.
Neil. Neil is still in the chat. Here's a question for you.
Sorry, someone else in the chat after these last 5 minutes.
How do you know?
Everybody else
did
is
he send you a
gone.
voice note or what?
I think
I
we
see him in
gained,
there.
I think we gained watchers.
Maybe. But Neil, would you listen to a Dave Matthews guitar podcast? Just that name, dude. You know you'd get tons of subscribers because everybody would think you were somebody else.
Jeez.
See, there's Neil. I'm
Really?
here. I knew Neil was still here. So I'm trying to get Dave to do a guitar podcast since we do have geek stuff and the UTB Networks is creator owned. Hey, Chevy's still with us too. So here's a question. Would you guys listen to a Dave podcast? We'll wait for an answer. I got ha 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 no.
Do
Okay.
they,
So,
do they listen to the podcast we have now?
huh?
I said, do they
Okay.
listen to the ones we have now?
I don't know.
Mhm.
Okay, Neil says
right.
he was kidding, and yes, he would. So, Dave, you've already got your recorder. You've got tons of guitars, supposedly made in America. Get it. Brother Neil
Well-
says, get on it, Brother Dave.
5 of them are made in America, but 2 of them are not.
All right, I
What's
think
up?
we've ran our course tonight.
Oh, yes.
So next week, we'll come back with more things that people have 3 of. And we will.
And there won't be a show and tell, Dave.
Oh dear.
Hey,
Okay,
guess
good.
what? Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Let's say good night.
Good night, folks.
Good night, folks.
All right. See ya.
That's taking a long time to stop.
We're still live.